Think you can't race? Think again. SimAbility is breaking barriers and making sim racing accessible for drivers with disabilities. We're a welcoming iRacing league open to racers with disabilities, along with their friends and supporters of all abilities. Our members represent a wide range of skill levels and experience, from first-timers to seasoned competitors. This is a place to connect, compete, and most importantly, have fun. Racing isn't just about speed, it's about the freedom to compete. At SimAbility, we believe every driver deserves a spot on the grid. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern for exciting battles, competitive racing, and great friendships. Join the SimAbility Racing League today.
Welcome one and all to the North Wilkesboro Speedway for the finale of the SimAbility No Limits Just Legends series. This speedway is built on a hill, as you can see here. Turns 3 and 4 are the highest point, and that may well be where this championship is decided. Drivers will be helped by gravity on the front stretch and swim upstream on the back stretch. Whoever can master the unique rhythm of this track first is going to have an advantage. But there's a twist. Tonight's race is run as 3 shorter races, 2 25-lap dashes, and a much longer final race. The final race will be inverted. The points are tight, and it all comes down to this. And speaking of the points, let's take a look at them. And currently, your points leader is 2 different drivers. We have a tie at the front coming into the finale. We've got Stephen Kiefer and Andrew Smith both tied for the lead, and only 11 points back is Billy Wise. Mathematically, he's got a shot. Tom Johnson behind him, another 7 points down, still within range if things were to go wrong with your top 2. Down from there is Dalton Williamson, your winningest driver on the season, not here tonight, so look for a different driver in victory lane. Then you've got Johnny Berardi, Jason Lance, who missed a couple races. Nate Anderson climbs up to 8th. Fish, we got Don Fisher here. He is back. He's going to be running with us tonight. And Tim Obert, who did not make the call tonight, rounds out the top 10. Let's get over to your starting lineup. All right, we are going front to the back this week, and that is the Icy Man, number 76. You see him sitting on the pole there. He's got a lot of wins on the season, and he's looking to add an exclamation point to what has been a fantastic run for him. Not in the running for the points championship, but still looking strong for another win here tonight. To his outside in the Heineken machine, that is the 32 of Billy Wise. There's Billy. Back arrow from there. That is TJ Tom Johnson, and he is only 18 points out of the points lead. A good starting position here could lead to good momentum for the rest of the race. And next to him is the number 87, Andrew Smith, one of the drivers tied for the points lead. Back from there, we haven't seen him in a while, it's Donald Fisher. We call him Fish. And just to his outside is going to be the number 22 of Stephen Kiefer, the other driver involved in this points battle. Of note on that row, Fish was your winner opening night. To the back row in the patriotic number 5, that is Nate Anderson, and he's really been running strong here late in the season. He's lined up next to our video editor, that's the 99X Johnny Berardi out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Back to the very final row. We haven't seen him in a while either. He ran once earlier this season. That's Brian Lawheed in that number 66 Exalta machine. So we're getting ready to roll off the grid here, and this first 25-lap segment is going to get underway.
Hey Jacob, where would be a really cool place to see one of our SimAbility products?
How about the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina?
So big thanks to the NASCAR Hall of Fame and going above and beyond in setting up this ADA compliant simulator, and thanks for choosing SimAbility.
So to my knowledge, here is how the race format is going to be today. 2 25-lap dashes, neither of which reward points, and a final race with a twist an invert based on the finishing order of race number 2. And from there, we're going to see where the chips fall. These first 2 races may not seem important, but if you get on the back foot early and lose your momentum, either mentally or physically, you are going to have a bad time. This guy's getting ready to go as we get the 1 to green. Lance has won 3 races this season. He is going to fire off next to Billy Wise, third in points, 11 points out of the lead. You know Billy's going to be running quite hard here as we are green flag off of turn number 4. You can hear the drivers coming up through the gearboxes. Lance holds the bottom. TJ drifts up a bit. He's going to lose a little momentum that's going to allow Billy Wise through. And he gets a good run down the backstretch. Now, as we've seen with these cars all season, the draft is going to play a huge factor here. If you can't stay in the tire tracks of the car ahead of you, you will lose that draft. So we'll see if those 3 cars at the back are able to hang on to this pack of 6 up at the front. We got 2 wide battling all the way down here from 3rd through 6th. And they're finally getting single file there, and that is important. If they were to stay side by side, those top 2 could really start to get out on them. And they come through 3 and 4. Lance, still your leaders. We got trouble on the front stretch. And that's Andrew Smith around backwards. That's going to bring out the first yellow of segment number 1. We're going to go back and take a look at that. Here we see Smith coming out of turn number 4. It looks like the back end of the car starts to come out on him, and it's already coming around by the time Fisher and Kiefer get there. Now, those are your 2 points leaders, Kiefer and Andrew Smith, both involved in that wreck, both taking damage. We'll see how that shakes out when we get ready to go green again. Now getting the 1 to green sign here out of the flag stand. 8 laps of 25 complete. Your leader is Jason Lance. That is Andrew Smith sitting down there in the pits, one of your points leaders. And we're going to have to see if he can recover his morale after that one, because it looked like the car came out from under him and all hell broke loose. Of note, Stephen Kiefer was also involved in that wreck. He's sitting further back, so both of these drivers got a lot to recover from as we go green again here in our first little race of the night, your 25-lapper at North Wilkesbourgh. And we are side by side for second already going into turn number 1, and for 4th as well. That 4th place battle goes to Fish, 2nd place battle goes to Wise. And they are definitely keeping that 76 in sight. They head down the hill into turn number 1. In fact, Wise gets really close to his back bumper there. And now they climb the hill up the back stretch. Down to the bottom goes TJ in turn number 4. Not quite enough momentum to do it yet. He's definitely showing he's got the horsepower to make something happen here in the next few laps, as he's going to try the outside now. Lance continues to lead here, lap number 11. Top 3 by the stripe, and now Wise starts looking to the high side. Could this be the move? And I don't necessarily mean right now, but later on in the race, that outside groove may come in. It certainly did in Monday night practice. This is definitely going to be interesting to see develop across this evening, as Wise and Fish are now battling for second. Wise kind of committed to that high line. TJ goes up there with him, kind of diamonds the corner off. Wise holds on to second, and here comes TJ using that outside groove, trying for third. No dice. So your top four are now Lance, Wise, Fish, and TJ. Back behind TJ, we've got Stephen Kiefer, one of those 2 points leaders, working his way on the inside of Nate Anderson, trying everything he can do to recover from what happened earlier on. And he has definitely had an up and down season. But despite that, he has finished every single race he's entered. And sometimes just being there is enough to help you hold on to one of these things at the end of the season. There are now 10 to go. Jason Lance continues to lead. 32 in second, Billy Wise, then Fisher, then Johnson. And these four have started to break away from the two behind them, which is Kiefer and Anderson. Those two probably going to get lined up here pretty soon. Wise coming off the corner a little bit wider than Lance, and that might just be his line. Kind of seems like that's been his line all race long, is running just a little bit higher up. Not necessarily as high as he went when he was looking for the lead, but a little higher up than the rest of the cars. Oh, Fish is all out of shape on the front stretch. He hits the inside wall hard, and that is caution number 2 here as we approach the end of this 25-lap dash race. Fish gets it pointed back in the right direction, and we'll be back with the green.
Bring your driver to life with custom-designed racing hero cards. Perfect for fans, sponsors, autograph sessions, and race day promotions. High-quality design, personalized layouts, and attention to every detail that makes your brand stand out. Turn your racing story into something fans can take home.
Alrighty, 1 lap to green here. Looks like it is going to be a 3-lap shootout. Lance continues to lead. I will note that Andrew Smith, one of the points leaders and your winner earlier this season at Martinsville, is back out on the track. So he'll be collecting a few more laps here as we get ready to go green again. Lance surges forward just a little bit. Wise hanging back. He's deep staged. We're going green in the middle of 3 and 4.
Green.
And down the hill they go. And look at Johnson making a big move into second. And Wise fighting back. Track tightens up a little bit out of turn number 2. Wise gets a great run into 3. He dives in just a little bit deeper than Johnson. Side by side at the stripe. Johnson has it this lap. And they're 2 wide behind him as well. Nate Anderson poking his nose underneath the number 22 of Stephen Kiefer. Jason Lance is loving this. You can see him starting to fade out of the picture there in the front while these guys go at it. And nobody's really getting much of an advantage at all. Johnson really had a good shot at it, and the car just got sideways on him there. He was able to gather it up, but that's going to allow Wise back into the spot. The question is, does Johnson go on the attack, or does he fall in line and draft? As we're coming to the checkered flag here, we know Jason Lance wins it. Second place, Billy Wise. Third goes to Johnson, and fourth looks like it's going to go to Kiefer. Anderson rounds out your top 5. From there on back, Fisher recovers for 6th. Johnny Berardi takes 7th. And we're already lining up for the second dash, so we're just going to keep that footage rolling here as the pace car teleports onto the track. There is Andrew Smith, one of your points leaders. He had a very, very rough time in that first little dash race there. See if he can get his mojo back here in race number 2. He'll be starting deep in the field because the invert is after this race. So the finishing order you just saw is the starting order of this race. Lance, Wise, Johnson, Kiefer, Anderson, Fish, Berardi, Lawhead, and the 87 starting shotgun on the field is Andrew Smith. So this is going to get pretty interesting. Just waiting on the pace car to let them roll off. Alright, getting ready to go green here on the second stint. Another 25 lapper, your starting order, the finishing order of the last race, were green. Now remember, this is a second race here, so Smith back on the lead lap in the number 87, your Martinsville winner from earlier in the season. One of very few drivers who was able to peel the trophy out of either Jason Lance or Dalton Williamson's hands. Billy Wise looking strong on the outside. We got a slow car in turn number 4. Looks like they're able to gather it up and keep going. Through turn number 1, Wise gets a little loose out of 2. Now we've got Fish and Johnson. They are fighting for the 4th position. Down the front stretch, everybody getting single file early in the running of this one, as Fish and Kiefer nearly make contact there. Kiefer is one of your points leaders. He is running hard right now. Coming out of 4, it has really been the Jason Lance and Billy Wise show so far tonight. And here comes the 61 of Fish. This is for 3rd. I think he's going to get him here. He's got it down the front straightaway. Number 61, Don Fisher, as we have a caution flag come out. Looks like for Berardi. We'll go back and take a look at what happened. Here's Berardi working his way down the backstretch, trying to get a run on Brian Lawhead, and he gets a little loose here, and it just keeps turning on him. There's really not much you can do when the car is that far gone. Fortunately, he was able to keep it from bouncing up into traffic, and it does still seem to be running. So Berardi's going to take another swing at this when we're back.
Bring your driver to life with custom-designed racing hero cards. Perfect for fans, sponsors, autograph sessions, and race day promotions. High-quality design, personalized layouts, and attention to every detail that makes your brand stand out. Turn your racing story into something fans can take home.
The sun is slowly getting closer to the horizon here, and these cars are going to start getting a lot more responsive as we get closer to the end of this thing. In fact, the main event is going to be run under the lights, and the characteristics of this track are going to change quite a bit between now and then. As we look out over the beautiful countryside here in virtual North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Looks like we will be getting the 1 to go signal at the stripe. Lance and Wise doing what they've been doing all night, sitting 1st and 2nd. Wise hanging back just a little bit there. Deep staging as he did towards the end of the first dash race. Kiefer's really hanging back there on the outside of the second row. And it looks like we've got another lap of caution. That would explain it. Alright folks, cross your fingers. Let's see if those lights on the pace car go out. They do. Somebody punched his lights out. Alright. This time they're getting a little closer, and we're getting ready to go. You can see Berardi has rejoined the field, and that car is hurt. Capital H. The left front wheel not even spinning right now, so not sure how well he's going to do in the rest of this second dash, or if he's going to stay on track. Looks like he's gonna. Alrighty, we're green off of turn number 4. Great start for Jason Lance. Bad start for Billy Wise, as Fisher is all over him going into turn number 1. And boy, he is trying to hold it. He washes up after hitting the apron and is going to hit the backstretch wall a ton. That apron unforgiving here, as that thing is running somehow by the grace of God. No caution? Nope, there's the caution. All right, so we're going to take one more short break here as the sun gets a little lower, and we'll be back.
Hey, Jacob, where would be a really cool place to see one of our SimAbility products?
How about the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina?
So, big thanks to the NASCAR Hall of Fame and going above and beyond in setting up this ADA compliant simulator, and thanks for choosing SimAbility.
Getting ready to go back to racing once again here, lap number 14 of 25 in this second dash race. And this is the last one before we go main event racing here in a bit. 2 by 2, it has been all Jason Lance and Billy Wise so far. Lance fires off nice and early at the top of the hill in turn 3. Great start for him, and a great start for Steven Kiefer, one of the two drivers tied for the points lead. Kiefer is now going for second into turn 1. He gets a little wide, and that is not going to happen for him, at least this lap. Further back, his main competitor, that number 87, Andrew Smith, working the high side, trying to get around Lougheed. And he does, going through 3 and 4. Lougheed battles back on the bottom. Doesn't look like he's going to carry enough momentum to do much, though. As looks like Johnny Berardi has pulled his car behind the wall. That will leave us with 8 cars on track. Jason Lance is the one leading them. Billy Wise looking really strong tonight as he keeps that leader in distance. This is about, or in view I should say, and this is about as far as I've seen between these two cars. Looks like almost 10 car lengths coming into turn number 3 here. Wise scrapes the wall a bit, and so does Kiefer down the front stretch. Looks like neither of them hit it hard enough to really screw up the handling on those cars. Seven laps to go, going away to 6 here, as Wise gets a little bit loose again, coming out of 4. We got a battle further back between Lougheed and the number 5 of Nate Anderson. And Anderson has been struggling here at North Wilkesboro. He's had a few very good weeks, and this week it just looks like either he missed the setup or the track just does not agree with him. But he does complete the pass on Lougheed, who ends up getting into the fence. Fish tries to follow him through. 5 laps to go here. And your top 4, I would say top 5 even, are spread way out. This is the best battle on the track at the moment as Fish gets around Lougheed. And it looks like he's going to hold that spot. He was taking a peek at Anderson there, but doesn't seem like that was going to work out. Watching Kiefer start to very slowly chip away at that interval between himself and Billy Wise. Wise ran his fastest lap of the race. Kiefer ran the fastest lap of the race that time by. Kiefer's still a little bit quicker, but not quick enough. He is running out of time. They're going to be coming by for the white flag this time. And it doesn't look like any of them are going to be able to do much of anything with each other, although Anderson and Fish are fighting back there. We'll see how that comes out in a moment. But for the time being, here comes Jason Lance in that number 76. And he is going to get it done here as... Ooh, that was close. I believe Anderson got it. The lights are on here at North Wilkesboro as we gear up for the final event of the night. And this is going to be where fates are decided for these drivers. As you may recall from earlier in the broadcast, Stephen Kiefer, Andrew Smith tied for the points lead. Billy Wise and Tom Johnson not too far behind them, and this track is going to have changed characteristics completely since the sun was up earlier on in the event. That same view of the countryside from earlier, looking a lot darker now as these drivers are getting a couple minutes of warm-up, a couple minutes to take a break, stretch their arms, get ready to go again. Looks like Andrew Smith's going to take a couple of extra laps here in this warm-up. And these things on cold tires are quite squirrely here, even when the sun is down. You'll definitely see some of these guys sliding around a lot these first few opening laps. It takes somewhere between 3 and 8 or so laps for the tires to really come in, and that's when you'll start seeing incredibly fast lap times being ticked off, probably much quicker than they were with the sun up. Ooh, as Andrew gets a little loose there, but saves it. And he's going to have to probably make a lot of saves tonight because this race is definitely shaping up to be a crazy one. Looking back from Fisher here during warm-up, the main event is going to be a 100 lapper. As Fisher getting sideways in that same spot in turn 4. That's a spot you're going to want to keep an eye on tonight. Alright, it is time for your final race of the evening. The main event, the one you've all been waiting for, is lined up and ready to go 100 laps here at North Wilkesboro in these little cars. And your pole sitter is going to be Fisher. And he's had a pretty rough time so far tonight, but hopefully he's able to turn things around here in the main event. Lining up next to him, look ma, no legs, it's Johnny Berardi in the number 99X. Back from there, Brian Lougheed, we've seen him twice this season, and he is definitely looking to make his mark here tonight. Back from there, it's Andrew Smith, one of the two drivers tied for the points lead coming into this. Next to him in the patriotic number 5, that is Nate Anderson. And back a row from there is the number 22, Stephen Kiefer, the other driver tied for the points lead. And the number 23 of TJ, Tom Johnson. Then you've got Billy Wise and Jason Lance, the two who have been up front for every lap of competition so far this evening. The shoe is definitely on the other foot now, and a lot of these drivers were able to survive a 25-lap race, but we'll see if they can survive 100 as we get ready to go here in 3 and 4. Fish holds them back. Green flag's out. And Fish gets a pretty decent start, but Berardi is not ceding any ground to him. As they go into 1, Berardi almost tucks in behind him. He's going to go way up high by the wall, dime in the corner. But that is going to lose him a little bit of momentum. And that's going to be Anderson slipping through for second. Berardi gets back in line in third and now makes inroads on the number 5. Johnson takes a look at Berardi. Berardi back down to defend. He's going to hold on to that third spot. Johnson looking at the high side. Around goes the 66 and the 76. And that is a tough break for both of those drivers. We're going to have to go back and see exactly what happened. Alright, so a few things happened. The first incident was here between the 87, Andrew Smith, one of your points leaders, who gets loose off of turn 2, and the 32, Billy Wise. Those two got together first on the back straightaway. Now, that didn't seem to bring out a caution, which is interesting, which led to that second incident, which you saw happen live. Here, once again, is the second incident. Lougheed way up by the wall. He gets a little bit sideways, and nowhere for Jason Lance to go. I don't even think he knew that was going to happen. Ends up hooked into the fence, so both drivers taking a lot of damage in that one. 4 cars already hurt in the early going of this race. It's going to get crazy, folks. We've talked about hills tonight. How about a mountain? Andrew Smith, one of the two drivers tied for the points lead, who's currently catching up to the field there, is 4 laps down in the early going of this thing. And he has got a huge mountain to climb. As we're green once again, Fish gets a great start. Anderson falls into second, and Berardi once again takes over third. Looking to his outside is Johnson. They're very close going into turn number 3. Johnson makes the pass on the outside. Berardi now under attack from the 22. That's Kiefer. Kiefer down low under Berardi. Up to the top goes Billy Wise. And there's going to be some contact here. Yes, there is. Around goes the 22 and the 99X. No yellow. And there it is. Alright, looks like everybody else made it through that one okay. Especially this guy. My money's on him tonight. Getting ready to go green again here. And due to your announcer looking at the results of the heat, he was not 4 laps down, he was 1 lap down. Your points leader, Andrew Smith, as we go green again. Smith did not catch up to the field before we went green, so he's got a long way to go to catch his rival, Stephen Kiefer, as your current leader. Fish working his way into turn number 3 with Nate Anderson in tow. Billy Wise actually getting up to the front before the 76 of Jason Lance, and those two have been working together all night tonight. We'll have to see if they can get hooked back up, as we're still very early in the going of this thing. Wise making a statement on the top side, going into turn number 3, trying to get by Johnson. Johnson gets a little bit of a run down on the bottom, and he's going to hold on to that spot for now. As we got 5 cars you could throw a blanket over. Fish starting to gap him just a little bit. But with the draft being as powerful as it is in these Leching cars, being out there by yourself may not be such a good idea. Anderson continuing to hold down to second, but he has got 2 very strong challengers behind him. That was Johnson, who looked to the bottom just a little bit there in 1 and 2. Might have just been running his line a little differently. And Wise in the 32, although Lance now is taking a look at Wise for the 4th position. And he's got positioning going down into turn number 1. Is it going to be enough? As Johnson and Anderson make a little bit of contact there. Here comes Jason Lance. And he is right in the tire tracks of that number 23. Wise way down to the bottom in 1. Makes a big move. It's really hard to get that car turned when you get that deep into the corner. He's able to hold on to it. Unfortunately, not able to advance his position. Coming out of 4, Lance looks for another one down the front stretch. And he's got it. He's got Tom Johnson going into turn number 1. Now he's looking at the number 5 of Nate Anderson. That will be for second. As Johnson tries to fight back on the top, he gets a pretty good run through the center. Not quite enough to do anything yet. But hold your breath, folks. Here we go into 1, and they are tight. Lance working the low side. Anderson gives him room to operate. And Johnson is just about to involve himself in this battle as well. So now Anderson and Johnson racing for 3rd. Wise trying to find a way around both of them. And one of your 2 points leaders, Stephen Kiefer, sitting there trying to figure out how on earth he's going to get up to the front of this field. They are side by side through 3 and 4. Johnson this time has the advantage, gets a little loose. He'll be scored with 3rd place at the stripe. And he's got it pretty solidly going into 3, but Anderson absolutely sends it. Perhaps a little bit of contact there. Anderson has to check up. Wise through to 4th, I should say. Through to 4th. Anderson really not willing to give up now that he's back at the front of the field. He is fighting hard to hold on to that position. Wise gets in deep. And he is losing sight of his dancing partner, Jason Lance, who has almost caught Fish at the front of the field. And these four still going at it as those two ahead of them really start to get away. They might have to all set aside their differences and just draft at this point. It's hard to be patient when you are so close to the end of one of these things. Only 75 laps left in this season. Looking up ahead a little bit, Jason Lance has caught the fish, and he's going to try and figure out what to do with him now as they come off of turn number 4. Fish gets a little bit wide. Lance still not able to do much yet, as we got a battle for the 4th position still raging. That's the 32 of Wise, who currently has it on the top. The 76 goes for the lead. He's going to have it. Fisher trying to swing back down, get in his tire tracks. Lance running a lower line, giving the top to Fisher. But Fisher not able to capitalize in that number 61. So we'll keep an eye on that. As well as back here on this. Now these four starting to spread out a little bit, and this might be where you see them get into line and start drafting one another. Kiefer running a very high line there at the back of this pack, and it may be that the driver who wins the points championship tonight is not the one who wins the race. In fact, both drivers are buried in this field. Andrew Smith all the way back in 8th. Okay, getting some updates from scoring. Now, according to scoring, as we watch Berardi and Lougheed battle here, according to scoring, the 76 car was a lap down when he passed the leader, which would mean he is currently the last car on the lead lap. So if that is the case, and the standings do seem to reflect that, he's got a mountain to climb himself. As we watch Lawhead and Berardi battle some more, Berardi takes a huge swing at it going into turn number 3. As we wait on another update from scoring, because now I'm seeing Lance down a couple laps. So we're going to get this sorted out here. There he is. And yes, indeed, he is currently shown in the 9th position, with your leader remaining Fish. So this is an interesting development here. Let's go just a little bit further back up here. Here is Andrew Smith, and he's been catching up to this battle between Berardi and Lawhead, who've really been throwing down here. That is the battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Berardi sitting in 6th right now, Lawhead trying to figure out what to do with him. And Andrew Smith wanting to get around both of them and get up there a little bit closer to Kiefer. Back from them is Jason Lance, who, as far as scoring tells me, is still the last place car. Lawhead trying the outside here. Nothing doing yet. He's going to try it a little bit more in 3 and 4. Up at the top of the hill, that momentum works a little bit better, but not quite good enough as Andrew Smith pulls up alongside him. And we got ourselves a 3-car dogfight for the 6th position. Smith's going to get a nose out in front of Lawhead here. Into turn number 3 he goes. And he's going to wash up just a little out of 4. They touch! Smith in the wall again! And that is a very, very tough break for the number 87. He has been driving his butt off trying to get back to that field. But now he's got an even bigger mountain to climb. But help might be on the way, and that is in the form of Jason Lance, who currently sits 9th. If those two are able to draft and get back up there, we could see some interesting things happen late in this race. Of course, that's going to involve both of them staying ahead of this man, Don Fisher, your leader. Now, right now, Fisher is drafting with Lance. And that has allowed him to get quite a ways away from these three back here. That is Wise, Johnson, and Anderson. Kiefer has fallen off of these guys a little bit. He's way back here as we zoom out a bit. There they went, just now by the start-finish. Here's Kiefer. So he has well and truly lost the draft now. Both of your points leaders are in trouble. Back at Fisher, who is still doing his best to keep up with Jason Lance. Lance actually starting to walk him just a little bit. Here is Andrew Smith driving the wheels off that thing, trying to get back up there and get involved in this battle. And Lougheed and the 99X Berardi. Berardi really dives into three. It looked almost like that thing was trying to come around on him. But he holds on to your 6th position at current. Now the next car ahead of them, once again, is going to be Kiefer, who is a lone wolf. If we stop the camera here, there's how far behind him those two are, as they're still racing a little bit, so they may not be able to draft up there if they're not working together. And up ahead of Kiefer, it's these three, and then your leader all by himself as we approach halfway. So a lot of interesting things playing out right now, and depending on how this race goes, the complexion of it is going to be very, very different. Right now we are looking at a test of endurance over time between your 2 points leaders. Kiefer right now has lost the draft, and he is fighting for his life not to get caught by that number 87, who is fighting for his life to get back up into this thing, and he's getting a lot closer to it. He's tagging the wall and everything else, but he is driving that thing to the limit, trying to get up to these guys. And this is only lap 44. We're not halfway yet. Watching him slowly catch up to those two, and Lance slowly catch up to him. As Lance and Fish work their way down into turn number 1. We can see, according to scoring here, that Lance is 3 laps down to your leader currently. As Smith catches the wall again, and all these cars are getting very close to each other now. He's doing everything he can to get by those two before the leader gets to him. Give himself just a little bit of a cushion. Meanwhile, Fisher back there trying to bookend the season with a win in the opener and a win in the finale. That is looking quite good for him right now. Lougheed's going to get a great run on the number 99X down the backstretch. He has to back out of it going into 3. Berardi holds the spot. Here comes Smith. Right behind him, Lance. He is looking to get as many laps back as he can. Smith to the bottom underneath Lougheed. And this time he's going to clear him. Here comes Lance. He goes underneath Lougheed. He clears him. Smith under Berardi coming out of 4. He's going to pass him as Berardi and Lance make a little contact there. Fish puts a lap on Lougheed. Berardi now the last car on the lead lap as Fish gets into him. Both cars sustaining damage on the backstretch. No caution.
Caution.
And there it is. Okay, this is going to get very interesting. I'm going to have a talk with scoring. We're going to see exactly where everybody is, and I'll tell you when we're back. Getting ready to go green here on very short notice as the field forms up. Everybody on the lead lap except for Jason Lance in the 76, 1 lap down. Your 2 points leaders, the 22 and the 87, reunited here as we go green. Lots of tire changes, lots of position changes under that caution, and a whole lot of craziness as we go green past halfway here on lap number 58. And your 2 points leaders, that's them right there on your screen. Number 22, number 87, that's Kiefer in the 22, 87 is Smith. Jason Lance in the 76 behind them, 1 lap down. Everybody else on the lead lap. Lance trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way, and he's got time to do it if he can get by these two. Smith currently with the advantage in the points battle. Lance works his way by both of them. 3 cars for him to go before he can get back on that lead lap. Fish continues to lead here. Lance trying to pick off another one on his quest for that lap back as the points leaders are going at it again. Kiefer on the inside, Smith on the outside. And Smith really throws it into the corner there. Gets a heck of a run off the outside, but that number 22 hanging strong on the inside. Kiefer, the road race ringer, we've seen him do very well on road courses. He struggled a little bit on the ovals, but he is definitely showing up where it counts as Lance picks off another one. 2 cars for him to go before he's on the lead lap. We look back at your points leaders here side by side, giving each other just enough room to operate. It looks like Berardi may have assessed a penalty there, so he is also going to be a lap down, if not more. Still watching these two, and this is the battle for fourth. I forgot that number 76 there is a lap down, although he's about to change his own fate. He has caught the leader, and he wants that back bad. He says, I'm still part of this thing, I'm still fast, I can still win it. He nails it to the inside here. And we got someone spinning further back. That was Nate Anderson. No yellow. Meanwhile, Smith shakes out with the spot as we're about to have a lead change. That's Billy Wise looking on the inside. He's following Lance through. Lance back on the lead lap now. Wise taking another look here into 3. Can he make it stick? Fisher up just a little bit off the bottom. Wise not able to capitalize on that just now. As, don't look now, but Andrew Smith and Stephen Kiefer are reeling in these top 3. Jason Lance has got to hope for a caution right now so he can get back into this thing. There is still a long way to go, but he is really not getting too far ahead of the leader. As we zoom out again, take a look back to your points leaders behind these 3. There's Lance, the last car on the lead lap, then Fisher, Wise, Johnson, and these 2 who are still, as a reminder, racing for the championship here on the final event of this season. It has been 20 weeks, not all of them broadcasted, some of them in the rain, some of them in the shine, some of them with left and right turns, some of them on huge ovals, some of them on tiny ovals. We almost talked them into doing a figure 8, in fact. However, it all comes down to this track here, North Wilkesboro, the Hill, as I like to call it. "30 laps to go," and as we're drawing towards the end of this season, there have been a lot of memories made this season, a lot of fun racing, a lot of rivalries, a lot of wild finishes. hoping to put a period on that with another fantastic race tonight, and so far it has been. Now, we're looking at Billy Wise here in the 32, and the reason we're looking at him is all race long, he worked with that number 76. Both of the dash races earlier, he and Jason Lance hooked up and went to the front. And I'm thinking if he is somehow able to get by Fish here, he may fall right back into line with Lance and take off. Which would be bad news for Lance, but great news for Billy Wise. Right now, the only thing between him and that is your leader, Fisher, who won on opening night back at New Smyrna. Checking in on our points leaders once again. The 87 and the 22, and Smith right now holds a bit of a lead over that number 22. They are starting to lose these top three, though. These top three are all getting towed around the track by that number 76. As long as they can stay in his tire tracks, they will continue to pull away from those two as well, as Lance is the fastest car on the track right now. There are 25 laps left to go in the season when they cross the stripe this time by. Looks like Berardi has pulled his car behind the wall. Leaves 8 cars on the track. The first of which is Fisher in the 61, the last of which is the 76, the Icy Man, Jason Lance. Ooh, Fish trying to actually put him back down a lap. He got in very, very deep to 1 and 2 and lost a lot of momentum on exit, as you saw there. Up on lap 80. Let's take a look at some of the other drivers. Anderson here, he experienced a bit of a whoopsie there in turns 1 and 2 earlier. Currently all on his own in 7th place, trying to catch up to Lawhead in the number 66. Lawhead all by himself out there, no drafting help. And that could spell disaster for him as Anderson gets bigger and bigger in his mirror. Then, up ahead of them, we're back to this battle for the points lead. So these two kind of in the middle of the pack, but still racing for all the marbles here at North Wilkesboro. We're going to step away for the last commercial break of the season. I hope you love these commercials, because we're not going to see them again until next season. We'll be back.
Hey, Jacob. Where would be a really cool place to see one of our SimAbility products?
How about the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina?
So, big thanks to the NASCAR Hall of Fame and going above and beyond in setting up this ADA compliant simulator, and thanks for choosing SimAbility.
16 laps to go on the season for the No Limits Just Legends presented by SimAbility. That is your leader, the 61 of Don Fisher. And in second, right behind him, Billy Wise in the 32. That 76 car is Jason Lance, a 3-time winner this season. Currently the final car on the lead lap and fighting tooth and nail to stay there. Back from there, it is Tom Johnson in the 3rd place, and he has lost the draft of the 2 ahead of him. Bad news for him, as the 2 behind him are drafting. These 2 are your points leaders. They are both tied for the points lead. That is Andrew Smith, and that is Stephen Kiefer in the 22. Back behind them, Nate Anderson has started to catch up once more. He just got by Brian Lawhead and has taken away the 6th position. And then there's Lawhead himself. He's had kind of an up and down day, currently without a drafting partner, and watching that number 5 get smaller in the windshield. Then we're back around to Jason Lance. Like I said, 3-time winner this season, a lot of times runner-up. If he didn't win, he was 2nd place. And this is looking to definitely change that record a little bit. He's just had awful luck tonight. And now he can't shake the leader, Fish, who almost gets into him there. And Fish has got to try everything he can to stay in the draft of that number 76. If he loses him, Billy Wise is going to have a very realistic shot at getting around him. 11 laps to go. 11. Looking back a bit further here. Smith still not quite in range to get a draft off the back of Johnson. We'll keep an eye on that. Right now our eyes are turned towards the front of the field. Wise trying to diamond the corner a bit, seeing if he can find speed anywhere on this racetrack. Lance gets a little wide. Fish gets the wall. And it doesn't look like any damage there, but that may have definitely shaken him off his rhythm. We look back to these two. These are your points leaders once again, and Smith still holding that points lead over Kiefer by virtue of being in front of him on the racetrack. 8 laps to go. Fisher looking to make this whole thing into a circle with a win opening night and another win here at the end. He stays in the tire tracks of Lance in the 76. Wise up behind him, still looking for a way around. You can see the backfire there when Wise lifts. It looks like he might have gotten just a bit deeper into the corner than Fish. And he is getting much closer going into turn 1. And this is not what Fisher wants to see. He is definitely wanting to stay up with that 76 and ditch the 32, but Billy Wise will not be shaken. This is 5 laps to go here at the stripe. 5. These drivers starting to get desperate here as we get deeper into the running. Kiefer starting to make a few inroads on the 87. Just a little bit closer each time. As Fisher is now trying to get by the 76 of Lance. Lance perhaps being willing to let them race it out. No, it does not appear so. He really wants to stay up there on that lead lap in case we get a yellow. And Wise pulls alongside your leader. Through 3 and 4, he's in that second groove. Not enough momentum, but he's going to swing straight to the bottom. And can't quite get in there as Fish closes the door with 3 laps to go. Meanwhile, your points leaders getting a lot closer. Kiefer may have left something on the table earlier, but he's not doing that now. As it looks like your leaders have both made their way around the 76. It's looking as if this will be the white flag this time by. We'll see as Wise takes a huge dive into turn number 3. Can he do it? At the stripe, Fish is going to have it. But I do believe that's only the white flag. Yes, it is. So they continue to race. Wise holds the inside. Further back, these two still racing. Andrew Smith has the points lead at the moment. Fish gets a great run into 3, but he's going to lose momentum. It's going to be Billy Wise off of turn number 4 out of nowhere. And your points champion is going to be Andrew Smith. After a rough night, what a comeback for Smith. What a great win for Billy Wise. I do believe that was his first on the season. So heartbreakingly close for Fish. It looked like he was going to have a second win on the season, but it was just not meant to be. Tom Johnson coming away with a strong 3rd position there. What a race. That got my blood pumping. We're going to talk to some of these guys. We'll be back after this.
Think you can't race? Think again. SimAbility is breaking barriers and making sim racing accessible for drivers with disabilities. We're a welcoming iRacing league open to racers with disabilities, along with their friends and supporters of all abilities. Our members represent a wide range of skill levels and experience, from first-timers to seasoned competitors. This is a place to connect, compete, and most importantly, have fun. Racing isn't just about speed, it's about the freedom to compete. At SimAbility, we believe every driver deserves a spot on the grid. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern for exciting battles, competitive racing, and great friendships. Join the SimAbility Racing League today.
We are down here with Tom Johnson, the number 23, and you finished fantastically tonight with a third, a fourth, and another third. Was it hard being that consistent in a race kind of broken up into segments like this?
Well, it kind of was. On the last segment, though, I was really falling off at the end there. I lost a pack and just couldn't keep up. And if it had been another 20 laps, I would have gotten passed by probably Andrew and Steven. They were coming.
Yeah, those two had definitely hooked up, and they were starting to make inroads. I think you're right, another 20 laps. But that's not to say that you wouldn't have been able to fight back once you had draft.
Right. And I don't know if they'd have been able to get around me either, you know. They might have been able to caught me, but can they get around too?
Yeah, so definitely they could have at least done that, but you ended up coming out with third place twice tonight. There was a
Yeah.
whole lot of chaos during some of the cautions. Was it pretty easy to keep your wits about you during all that?
I was nowhere near most of them, so I got lucky that way.
Fair dues. And is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Big thanks to Glenn and thanks to Andrew and thanks to you for broadcasting and everybody. I'm sure everybody knows Glenn with the SimAbility and then I always give a shout out to my late son. It's for him for doing as well as it did. So
Right on. All right, yeah. Let's see here. We are going to go up and talk to Fish, your second place finisher, and you definitely had a bit of an up and down night tonight too. Um, Tell me about the end there. That's my first question. Is where you were following Jason? Were you planning on getting around him, or did you just want to draft with him?
Oh, I just wanted to draft with him. I was just hanging, falling asleep, taking a nap. Uh,
It is a big track, isn't it?
yeah, and then when he slowed up and let us pass, I don't know if he did that on purpose or not. Then I was worried, and I knew Billy was going to get me. I was so comfortable sitting behind Jason for those 30 laps or whatever it was. I just knew racing against Billy, he was going to get the draft and get under me. So it was definitely. I was worried about Jason getting all his laps back though. That did scare me.
Yeah, he was moving. He was getting back the old-fashioned way too, and I was
Yeah.
saying, oh, if there's a caution, he might be a factor, but things ended up working out
Well,
for.
there was a reason I let him go by because if we got a caution, he would have got the lucky dog. If he was
Hmm.
ahead of me, he would have caught up anyway. So
Yeah, damned if you do,
I was
damned if you
running the
don't.
fastest. I was running the fastest laps of the race. I think
Yeah,
at towards the end.
yeah, and that
You know.
draft,
So
like you two were like, it looked like a chain race out there. You were right in his tire tracks.
it was a lot of
Um,
fun. I was really thinking I would have won the first race and the last race of this season.
yeah, I was mentioning that up on the booth, and we can circle back to that. You won the season opener. You were second place, almost won it again here tonight. And I know you didn't run a full schedule, but during parts of the mid-season, it seemed like you were struggling a little bit to keep the car under you. What gave you your mojo back tonight?
Probably because I didn't practice.
No kidding.
We we lost power, and I didn't get out of here till about 20 of. So yeah, if I put too much thought into it, I get in trouble.
Yeah,
That's
same.
everything in my life.
Well, it looks like the lack of forethought definitely paid off tonight. Do you have any? Oh,
It was luck because Dalton didn't show up, and Jason had the issue with getting kicked out of the race. He was actually manually disconnected somehow. So
Oh,
other than
that
that,
explains a lot. Because there was a point during the race where I was like, why isn't he leading? He just passed Fish. And then I look up and it says, like, oh, he's like 700 laps down. um, Let me see. Do you have anybody that you'd like to thank?
yeah, I really liked hanging out with you guys. So I want to thank Glenn and the whole group. It's been a lot of fun, and maybe shout out. We're going to the expo, so any of you guys are hanging around in Chicago in September, we're gonna have a booth and meet a lot of good people.
Right on. Well,
It's a sim gaming expo. It's called.
you all can go see him at the Sim Gaming Expo. So keep an eye out for Fish. Now we're going to drag Billy Wise over here. Billy, with us?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're riding in line, the third car in line. You're second place. You guys are drafting behind one of the fastest guys all season. What were you thinking would work to try and take advantage of that situation?
The top, there was really something there. If you could get the top had some momentum, and if you could pinch him down, you could hold your own out there. But I did kind of lose track of the laps toward the end, and I thought we had 10, 15 to go, and it was 5 to go. I was giving Fish crap over the radio saying I'm going to wait till like under 10, and he's going to see what the high side's all about. And they're like, there's only 5 laps left. I'm like, oh shit, I better go. And then
You've been there.
it just felt good hanging with Fish is fast, and like you said, Jason's always fast. I feel bad for him. He got disconnected somehow. The race really was between him and Fish, but then Jason being out of it, and then whatever happened there at the end, I don't know if he let us go to race it out or what, but I definitely had to take advantage of it and try to make a move, and we went to the inside, and it worked out for us.
Yeah, that was definitely a move. Got my voice up a couple octaves higher than it normally is. I was like, what is going on? That was a fantastic finish. Um, so a special question for you. What did you think of the segmented race tonight? Was that a keeper?
Oh, I liked it. Yeah, it was fun. It kind of broke it up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a big fan too. So we'll see.
Hmm.
Maybe if the drivers end up liking it, we can talk Andrew into doing that for next season.
Yep,
Uh,
yep.
you got anybody you want to thank?
Just shout out to Glenn. I like to thank Andrew for putting this series together. He's put about the last 3 series together, I think. But Andrew's been the man putting these series together, and congratulations on his championship. And shout out to you and Johnny for doing these videos for us.
Right on. All right. Well, congratulations on your win, and it is time to talk to the man of the hour, Andrew Smith. And Andrew, you have put years of your time into organizing these races, getting these people together, getting them back out on the racetrack. What does it mean for you to not only be able to get all these people together, but to go out, compete, and win?
It's really special. It's been a long time coming, and honestly, it's the first season I haven't missed a race. I've been able to be there every week, and it paid off.
You sound like you're still reeling a little bit from this. Has the shock worn off yet? Has it set in yet?
I'm kind of whooped. It's not really real yet because these maybe, as I call it, fake race cars, but the emotion's still real.
I agree. The emotions are very real, and yeah.
I got out of work at 5 o'clock today and practiced until the green flag dropped.
Well, it looks like it paid off. I was watching you and Steven battle there, and he was kind of hanging out, and then towards the end, he really started to make some moves that looked like they might start paying off. Was there a point where you thought, ah, shoot, he's got me?
Well, I got in some trouble at the beginning of the last segment, and we went green and I was a half a lap back, so I had to use my stuff up just to try to catch up.
Yeah, that part was
And
crazy.
it's draft locked.
Yep. Yeah, that's
So I was nervous. He was making me nervous, but I just knew that 1 and 2, if I could even exit a little higher, I could get the run. And as long as I could beat him off 2, I was confident in 3 and 4. Because we had the break before the last segment, and I took a chance and tightened it up just a little bit so it was under me more off 4, and seemed to pay off. It was really tight at the end.
Yeah, and I think that's better than the alternative because it looked like these cars would just whip around backwards on a lot of these guys coming out of turn 4. And I saw during
Yeah,
the practice session, I saw you got around in 2, and I was like, oh, I hope he can tighten that thing up, and it looks like you definitely were able to.
well, everyone else took the warm up as a little bit of a break, and I went out there. I made an adjustment, took a little stagger out of the rear, and went out there and just it felt better, so I took a chance.
Yeah, well, the weather was different too. So
Yeah, it was good. I was stressed, but a good stress.
before tonight, was there any point in this season where you went, I think I've got this. I think I've got this in the bag. Or was it just kind of like you didn't really think about it until tonight?
I gotta say, I won Martinsville, and I looked at the points, and I was like, I was second, and I had kind of thought second's where I was going to be. Steven and I were going to fight for second, and then Dalton missed a week, and then all of a sudden it was Steven and I,
Yeah.
and we went into the road course last week, and it's not my thing, but I went in there with the mindset if I can finish, if we can come out of there at least tied with him in the points, then I have a real shot. So it
Yeah.
was really literally last week that I thought I had a real shot.
I kind of figured last week, when we did the road race, I was like, okay, well, these two, you know, we got Steven who's really, used to this road stuff, but Andrew's, he's putting in the work, he's practicing, he's setting the car up, he's doing everything himself. And I went, this is probably going to come down to the wire, and it really did.
I gotta say, I tried every way to give it away tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, but you didn't.
I was determined, and sometimes it's just enough.
Yeah.
Steven kept me honest. He's good. He's a clean racer.
Yes, he
He had some
is.
opportunities there with like 10, 15 to go that I was backing him up off the corner a little bit, and he could have probably dumped me if he wanted to.
Well, that was the nice part is it was a clean finish. It was good, hard racing, and that's kind of what we've come to expect here in this league. At least that's how I feel. Um,
As same,
yeah,
we try
especially
to be.
especially this season because it's kind of a core group of drivers. We don't have a lot of guys coming and going. Let me see. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank before we get out of here?
Well, I gotta thank Dalton and Don Codeman for coaching. They've taken a lot of nights with me over the past few years just to get me to the confidence level to drive like that.
Yeah.
And also Glenn Sidman, Simability Racing Products. They without them I don't race tonight. I don't win this championship. Billy for letting me help him with the league, and you and Johnny for broadcasting. I appreciate it. I like to go back and watch.
Oh, right on. I'm glad. Okay, well, I guess that's going to do us. Let's go ahead and pop the
Yeah.
champagne, everybody. We'll see you
All
next
right.
season.